Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace dropping in on you. I hope that everybody is having a good day. I just want to stop in real briefly and talk to you about what's going on with this being Super Tuesday and everything, about what's going on with the specifically the Democratic primary and how disruptive and disorganized and the lack of vision for the Democratic Party and their lack of concern, energy, and effort to create a clearly specific plan to address Black issues. And we must maintain a clear and precise and concise demand for a plan in order to have our vote. Before I get started, I want to remind you that the Odyssey Project definitely needs your support. Look in the description box and find the first paragraph that'll show you how to support the work we do. Everything from scientific and academic research all the way into program development and implementation. We need your support. With that being said, I'm on to what I want to talk to you about, because I'm not going to be long. I actually have a client in about 20 minutes. Look, they've been giving us a dog and pony show for as far back as I can recall as a person personally. And what my research reveals is they've always danced for us, talked to us, did everything to convince us they were for us, except actually work for us. No one that we've put in office in any high position, especially in the office of president, has actually went to work for us. We never really will know what John F. Kennedy would have done, because he was so bent on totally disrupting the status quo that they took him out. So we don't know what will happen. But anybody else, we have suffered as much, if not more, under Democratic administrations as we have under Republican administrations. So we have to be aware of that. I'm not talking about how we feel. Democrats have always made us feel good. They talked good. They smoothed good. They rubbed us over. But at the end of the day, the policy still destroyed us. Remember, it was under the Clinton administration that we got the legislature and policies that put our Black men behind prison walls in record number. It was under the Johnson administration in the 60s that the Black family was disrupted and disintegrated. We went from being a race where 75% of our children were born into two-parent households, until that's flipped now to where 75% of our children are born into single-parent households. That started under the Johnson administration against the advice of Dr. Daniel Patrick Moynihan, who wrote the Moynihan Report, which is actually entitled The Negro Family, A Case for National Action in 1965. So there has been no time in which any politician of any high-standing president or senator or whatever has actually gone to war and put together policies that impact us in a positive way. They gave us a lot of song and dance. They gave us a lot of lights and shows, but no real action. And it can be shown in the fact that we've made no progress in 153 years. So look, when it comes to Bernie Sanders, and the reason I'm here, everybody's kind of getting, hyped by Bernie Sanders. He's got a lot of people talking. You got Bloomberg paying for Black endorsements. You got Joe Biden getting the old heads of the old Black heads and old Black Democratic loyalists in the Black community to go for him. Hey, you got a lot of us still in love with Bill Clinton, despite everything that went on and how we were waxed over with that, still standing behind Biden. And then you have a lot of Blacks that are falling in love with Bernie solely because he's being the disruptor, because he is shaking up the status quo. He is everything that the Democratic Party doesn't want. And a lot of people are sitting up and they're jumping on, assalamu alaikum, brother. So you got some Blacks that are jumping on that bandwagon. Let me explain something to you. Everything I needed to hear from Bernie Sanders came out in an interview a week or two ago when he was asked about reparation, and his response was, and this isn't the first time he said this, that there are ways of helping Black people There are ways of helping Black people without reparations. And what Bernie is acting like is if what we are demanding in way of reparations is some kind of socialist handout, as if we are asking for something that we haven't already earned. See, the check we're talking about, Bernie, has nothing to do with you helping poor people. This is about people whose ancestors have actually put in the work, people who have experienced the atrocities of racism and a white racial caste system, Jim Crow segregation, black codes, convict leasing, redlining, urban renewal, benign neglect, gentrification, mass incarceration, miseducation, and I can go on and on of the things that we have literally not only experienced during chattel slavery, but have also experienced since then. See, it never ended for us. We went from one traumatic experience to another traumatic experience, and we've never had the opportunity to be treated and healed and freed up from the traumatic memory and all of the fallout of each one of those traumas. We've experienced injury after re-injury after re-injury, and it's ongoing. And we are not asking for handouts. We're demanding that we be paid what we're owed. See, we're the United States government, United States corporations, United States white wealthy elite have a debt to Blacks who built this country, a debt to Blacks on whose backs, on the backs of slaves who built their wealth. From industry to corporations to governments, all of that came from the free labor and the genius and the ideas. We're not just talking about free labor. We're talking about all the inventions you stole. We're talking about all of the ideas that you took. We're talking about all of the things that you're claiming that actually belong to Blacks. We want the money, cut the check. This isn't about handouts. This isn't about saying that those poor people, let's see what we can do for them. No, this is about, okay, we've exploited them long enough. We owe them this. It's time to pay up. And if it bankrupts the country, oh well. It's time to balance the scales. It's time to balance the scale. It's that simple. It's that simple. There's no other way to talk about it, put it, or even sit on it. We are now at a point where it's time for us to sit up and say, look, Bernie, we're not buying the bull crap. You can shoot the bull crap to whoever. If you don't come ready to stand up and fight for what we demand as a Black collective, you get nothing from us. No vote for nobody without a Black agenda. I don't give a damn what kind of saxophone you play, how much weed you smoke, how many people you're knocking down in the Oval Office. We're not hearing none of that. What we want to know is, where's your plan at? Where are the things that we can check off and hold you accountable for, and we can call you on when you don't deliver? We're going to need all of that before we give you the vote. And you thought we were playing, so you tried to dance around and do some things. I mean, I've seen all kind of pandering going on. Candidates dancing to back that thing up. All kind of people doing all kind of bull crap. Bloomberg playing Black people to stand up and say how awesome he was in New York when it was his stop and frisk policies that hemmed up so many Black men that are still trying to come from underneath that. It was his stop and frisk policy that hemmed up Khalif Browder and kept him locked up for 3 years behind a damn backpack that he did not steal until they broke him. And after his release, he ends up committing suicide. We ain't trying to hear you either. What I'm trying to say is, we're doing our research now. We're pulling receipts on all you clowns. And let me tell you something. We are not happy with what we see, and we're not falling for the okie doke. What Black people actually need to do, I'm going to say this and get off because I got to get ready for this client. What Black people actually need to do is actually sit up and come up with our own party. See, everybody's thinking about winning. The power of politics is not necessary in winning. The power in politics is sending a message that we're not going to play your game by your rules anymore. That shakes up the establishment. You don't have to win to have an impact. We're more concerned about, well, if we put a party together, there's no way we're going to win. We're not trying to win the White House. The White House has never been our savior in the first place. We have to remember that. What we're trying to do is we're trying to send a message that we're going to stand on our own, and we're never going to work with anybody who doesn't work for us. We're never going to put anybody in office again who does not have our interest at heart. We're not playing that game anymore. If we're going to stand up and create a party, and through that party, we're going to create power. We don't have to be in the office to have power. But you cannot play their game and give your power to them by voting for someone who is not going to represent your interests. There's no such thing as winning by voting for the lesser of two evils. If you got two evils and neither one of them are going to do good by you, they're just going to screw you in different ways, you have to create a way to represent yourself. You have to create a way to move yourself, to handle yourself, to take care of business yourself. That's what we're going to have to do. It hasn't really been done with any true magnitude since the Black Nationalist Party and the Black Panther Party, but it's time for us to stand up and actually say, we're not flowing with you if you're not working with us. End of discussion. That's what I have for you. Again, I've got to get out for you. I got to get ready for a client. Look, let me tell you something. It's up to you how you move about this, but we have to consistently send messages, and we got to call the bull crap. That bull crap Bernie's talking about we can help blacks without reparations. Reparations is what's owed to us, clown. It's not something we're asking or begging for that we don't already deserve that's owed to us. We're not asking for a handout. We're asking for what you stole by way of chattel slavery, by way of usurpation of our own inventions. That's what we're asking for. We're asking for what you stole by mass incarceration, convict leasing. We're asking for what you stole by blocking us out and locking us out of sitting up and the ability to create wealth through redlining, benign neglect, and urban renewal. We're asking for what you took from us through gentrification. We're asking right now for you to handle your business and pay what's owed to us. And we're getting tired of asking. Yeah, and to top it off, it's coming from a dude that is his entire people came up off of reparations. And that's what he understands. If we get reparations, that's absolutely nothing that can stop us. And that is it. He understands that. You know, we can still play this game. We'll give you a little bit. We'll look out. I don't want your handouts. I want my money. I want you to run my people our check for what all you've taken us through. And we're getting tired of asking nicely. Keep thinking it's candy. Keep thinking it's candy. And you're going to find out that anybody has a point to where they get tired. We're almost there. Keep playing. I'm about to check out here. Don't forget, support the work we do. I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable day.